joining us now. Look who's here. Senator Ron Johnson. Senator, it's always a pleasure to have you on. So your reaction to the jobs report, because Biden is touting job creations when Democrat-led shutdowns destroyed 22 million jobs. We're still a million jobs short versus pre-pandemic.
Well, first of all, they're really not jobs being created. They're jobs being filled. I don't know the exact number, but somewhere between 5 and 10 or 11 million jobs that are just unfilled. I know in Wisconsin, when I travel around, the biggest complaint employers have is they can't find enough people to work. And then, of course, it's inflation, supply chain dislocations. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is the Biden administration, all their deficit spending caused the inflation. Their war on fossil fuels sparked record high gasoline prices, high energy prices. And what they're spending this deficit spending on is allowing people to sit on the sidelines and not enter the workforce. So factories in Wisconsin can't hire enough people to fill the shifts to fill the demand for their products. So I call that the triple whammy of Democrat policies and governance that have sparked all this.
Yeah, so those are really the black swans, right? Those policies. You know, by the way, the Senator Mitt Romney is saying Trump is likely the GOP nominee if he wants it. But what's your reaction to this? Politico is reporting Biden may announce he's not running after the midterms, that Democrats are really worried he can't handle another race. And he won't use the Oval Office for media because it doesn't have a teleprompter. It's things like that that's troubling Democrat insiders. Your take on that?
Well, I'd be shocked if he were able to run for a second term. I would think Democrats ought to be relieved that they don't think he will. I thought he was unfit for office because of his foreign financial entanglements before he got elected. Plus, you could already see, I don't say this with any joy at all, but you can already see his decline. You know, age is having an impact on the president. It's an enormous task. And we need somebody that with full capabilities, and he doesn't have it right now.
You know, we have also this, Democrat Senators Mark Kelly and Joe Manchin warning they're not happy with the White House lack of action on inflation. And we had Biden not in a good look. He was caught on camera. It was a sticky situation. He was laughing about a joke about inflation. Watch this.
You know, I think ever since you've come into office, things are really looking up. You know, gas is up, rent is up, food is up, everything.
Okay, he really was guffawing over that, though. What's your reaction?
Well, obviously, there's nothing funny about the pain that Americans are experiencing because of Democrat governance. You know, both President Obama and President Biden, as they were campaigning, said they'd fundamentally transform America. What we are witnessing now is that fundamental transformation. Open borders, 40-year high inflation, record gas prices, rising crime. What they're basically doing, Elizabeth, is they are fundamentally destroying this country. And I can tell you, folks in Wisconsin here are highly concerned. I hope that energizes them to sweep Democrats out of power in November 2022. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, you know, Biden is out there, though. He's slamming Trump voters as the most extreme. That's his midterm messaging. When economists say his policies are extreme, and former President Trump is slamming Biden for being divisive. And now we've got the reports that the White House is going to bring in Anita Dunn, calling in the cavalry because they're worried about GOP investigations of Biden after the midterms. What are you going to look at first with Biden?
Well, what we just did last week is we examined their border policies, and they were in a complete state of denial there. But obviously, in terms of my own investigations, we'll see what the Justice Department does with Hunter Biden. You know, I'm highly concerned about what has happened during COVID. I've written 36 oversight letters to our federal health agencies, basically haven't gotten any responses. I'm concerned about our federal health agencies' lack of concern over their own vaccine safety surveillance systems, which they've utterly ignored. Now they're putting some restrictions on the J&J vaccine. I think that probably came way too late. So no, you know, it's a target-rich environment. I feel like a mosquito in a nudist colony. There's so many things that do need examination.
You know, Senator, you make an important point about what your voters are saying. They just see the total breakdown and lack of comedy and debate. You know, under Reagan, we had Bill Bradley, we had Dick Gephardt, we had Tip O'Neill, and then you had the Reagan team, and they were forging ahead. I mean, there were fights, not underplaying that, but they had somehow had bipartisanship. And what we're seeing now is the far left swing in the Democrat Party that we've never seen a Democrat Party act like this. Let's watch the Labor Secretary on CNN. The polls are crashing even at CNN for Biden. I mean, 3 out of 4 say his policies are damaging the economy. Senator, you're going to see now they're blaming it back on the pandemic. We thought it was Russia. Watch this.
More than three-quarters, 77% say they're poor. I mean, the president came out and sold improving economic picture for the country. What's the disconnect here?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, I think that we can't lose sight of the fact that we're still living within a pandemic.
Okay, so the pandemic forced Biden to shut down the Keystone Pipeline, forced Biden to undercut and defund and debank U.S. energy. The pandemic in Russia pushed him to do all of those dozens of executive orders to collapse U.S. energy independence and collapse the borders.
And yeah, exactly. Open the borders. Pandemic had nothing to do with that. Actually, the pandemic's the only thing that's allowed one restriction, Title 42, to remain in place, and they're going to cancel that. Now, let's face it. President Biden, in his inaugural address, promised, I think, 8 times that his #1 goal is to heal and unify this nation. Gory just said last week that half of the nation that didn't vote for him are the most extreme group in American history. No, the Democrats are extreme. They continue to divide this nation. They need to be held accountable.
Senator Ron Johnson, always a pleasure. Thanks for spending time with us. We hope you have a good weekend and join us again soon. It's good to see you.